O Mileta Rajović. O Mileta Rajović. Hello, and in today's video we are doing a match review of Watford's weekend result in the Championship, match week number 5. It finished at the Coventry Building Society Arena. Coventry City 3, Watford 3. What a game. What a topsy-turvy match. A match of bad defending from both sides. A match of some controversies here or there. But ultimately a match for Mileta Rajović to remember on his full debut for Watford. The new number 9 is fitting in well in a Watford shirt, and it's great to see that the Great Dane is delivering. We'll talk about him and much more in this match review. So if you do go on to enjoy this, make sure to smash a like on it, subscribe so you don't miss any of these Watford match reviews, which will be coming in the next couple of weeks, as I do go back to more busy life off the camera in a personal level, going back to uni and stuff like that. I won't have time to do videos, so make sure you just watch the next few and really comment your thoughts, and hopefully when I'm free to do more I can do. Also make sure you watch out for Spotify. On my Spotify, which is known as Roberto Hollis, you can also look at this on my Twitter, so follow me at Roberto Hollis 9, and on Instagram all lower caps Roberto_the_pro, because in a couple of weeks time I will be posting a little teaser with some poster kind of advertisement of the couple of episodes, because yes, I am going to be doing a podcast with my mate at uni, just to kind of bring that kind of vibe, and it's a good experience for what I'm doing in sports journalism. So we're going to be doing a podcast, trying to do it weekly, trying to upload usually on a Wednesday and record on the Tuesday. But yeah, it'll be a FPL related podcast, but also a football related one. So it's called The Form is Temporary podcast. So hopefully you do go on to enjoy listening to that. Make sure you go to the Spotify now, search in The Form is Temporary, and hopefully you should find it. The Form is Temporary podcast, and then you can actually listen to the trailer that's already on there. It's about 20 seconds long, so give that a little listen, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss another podcast. And as I say, that will be uploaded around, I think, the end of September, so about 3 weeks time hopefully the first episode will be out, so do watch out for that. But in today's video, we are going to be reviewing the Coventry game, and it was an amazing game. But let's kind of go through everything that happened. We're also going to talk about in this video Watford's transfer window review for the summer window of 23-24, because of course that did slam shut about 5 days ago now. So really interesting to see the business that Watford did. A lot of it was quite early on. I mean, obviously the main kind of headline was that new number 9, Mileta Rajović, and I'm hoping that he can be the one that really fires us to being in the playoffs at least, and having a chance at promotion. But it just looks so tricky this season with the big teams in the Championship, the likes of Leicester City, the likes of Southampton, the likes of teams like Coventry looking decent, and also some surprise packages in there at the moment. The likes of Ipswich, Preston, Birmingham City, Norwich. So yeah, it's going to be really competitive, I feel, this Championship season. But hopefully, for Watford's sake, we can find the right formula, the winning formula, because it's looked much better under the management of Valérien Ismaël, because I think Ismaël seems to get the right tune out of his players, and the off the pitch atmosphere on the training ground, in the intensity of the warm-ups, has looked so much better. I actually did able to go to the Watford training ground to see the players train, to see the press conference of Valérien Ismaël ahead of that away defeat to Stoke City, of course, which was a bit of a shame, that game. But the off the pitch vibe looks much better this season for Watford, and I feel like their mentality is better. Ismaël has rallied the troops and got them fighting for the badge, and ultimately working for each other, working as a team, because in the last few seasons Watford have not been a team. They've been a group of individuals, and they've just been relying on those magic moments to win them points. But if we see a collective performance, which we have seen this season, then it does bring back a bit of identity to that Watford side. A style of football under Valérien Ismaël, which is this really attacking 4-3-3, which looks to be really good. Obviously, you can have sometimes the wing backs playing a bit higher up and pushing forward, so then the kind of CDMs and the centre backs drop back a bit to help out. But also we've seen in this role that the kind of inverted midfielder position of the number 6 role for Francisco Sierrata, and it was a massive plus to have him back for the game against Coventry. So he was out with an injury in the last couple of games. But yeah, ultimately, really exciting Watford side at the moment. We're putting in the performances, but before Coventry, the goals were certainly drying up, and it's great to see Rajović, helping out with that. But ultimately, there is still a bit of a balance needed here, because before that game against Coventry, we were scoring very few goals and looking defensively very solid. But then now the complete opposite has happened, where we can't seem to defensively, look solid, and we're suddenly scoring goals. So we just need to get that balance if we have a chance of promotion this year. But ultimately, what a game. It started off with, it was just an unbelievable game of football. Not good reading, really, in terms of the table at the moment for Watford fans. But I think, as I say, the off-the-pitch vibe, the performances at least, have a lot of things to get Watford fans excited. But when you look at the table and you see us in 18th after 5 games, it's not ideal heading into that first international break this weekend. But, as I say, I think when you've got so many good performances and you have a lot of chances created, Watford often don't shoot enough and they don't, just gamble and have shots. But this season we've seen actually a few more shots, so there's been more impressive performances in there. So although they are 18th, rooted on 5 points, goal difference of +2, I look at it and think that is early days in the season. Hopefully things can balance out and things can get back to where we probably deserve them to be. But it's a nice start. We do need to improve our away form though. Our record away from home is very abysmal, and the away fans don't deserve that, right? They are always brilliant every week. They bring their amazing atmosphere to away games, the Hornets fans. So we deserve more from that, and the players need to be better from away from home, showing that character and showing the ability to hold on to points. Because frustratingly in this game, we went ahead and then we get pulled back, and then we went ahead and we get pulled back again. And unfortunately, Matt Godden had the final laugh on the 87th minute, and it's always crushing when that happens. You think, okay, we've got the goal on 79 minutes through Mileta Rajović, and you think, yes, okay, we finally got through all these hurdles, we kept getting paid back, but now we're back ahead, now we've got to hold on. But this Watford side often concede goals late, and that is something they need to really carve out of their DNA at the moment, because it's a bit worrying for the future. But what a game. It's not good for the league position, but as I say, performances say a different story, and I'm just so happy, really, for Mileta Rajović, because, it's his full debut this game. He did come off the bench against Blackburn. To be honest, even then I thought he looked quite good, was making a few good runs, looked like he was that kind of player that could go in behind. I mean, he's quite a lanky, tall player, but he's also got quite a lot of physicality about him, and he's a sensible footballer, right? He's got a good football brain. He makes those runs. He wants those runs, but there was no one really, threading them through against Blackburn in a game that we really dominated. It was a bit of a smash and grab from the Rovers in that one, but this one was a bit different. We actually had a bit less of possession, but ultimately, at the same time, I thought had the better chances in the game, and so the fact that we didn't wrap up the win is a bit disappointing, to be honest. So I think we definitely need to keep game management on the next few games and work that out. But ultimately, it's that balance between defence and attack. But a full debut for Rajović and a deadly double for his first goals for the club, and they were both actually decent goals. I mean, obviously, as I mentioned earlier in the video, a few defensive howlers from both sides, and that was included in Rajovic's second because it was a bad back pass, but it was still a good finish, swept it home confidently. And then, of course, that first goal, really, really sharp poacher play in the box, sharp in the box. And, there's a lot of pressure that comes with that number 9 shirt. Obviously, Troy Deeney, the real, Watford talisman of the last 12 years. And the fact that, last season we had Ray Manai come in. He didn't exactly, set the world alight. He was really underwhelming. The young starlet from Barcelona. I say young. Is he that young? I'm not quite sure. But he was certainly, meant to be, ready for big things at Barcelona. But Ray really didn't do it for Watford, and it was a really bad transfer. So then he brings in the number 9, Valérien Ismaël, quite late on in the window, and you think, okay, we've never heard of this guy, but I've already fallen in love with him, and I know that I think he might be a loan signing. And you know what they say, never fall in love with loan players, because they're going to break your heart when they leave. But ultimately, yeah, I just absolutely love him, and yeah, love the look of him. Also, I've got to say, love the look of Tom Ince, because he did come on against Stoke for a little kind of debut, and that was a tricky game. Obviously, he didn't play that well against Stoke, and he struggled really to impact the game against Stoke. And then also the same thing happened. He got brought off the bench against Blackburn, did Tom Ince. And to be honest, he looked okay, I thought. I think he did bring a bit of tempo to our attack, trying to influence the proceedings. But as I say, it was a frustrating afternoon against Blackburn. But I thought he was excellent in his first start, Tom Ince, against Coventry in this game, because he just gave us something going forward. He was driving at defences, really providing options for the strikers to run into the box and get on the end of things. And we saw that, of course, with Rajovic's first goal. I mean, lovely cross. So yeah, look, there's pressure obviously that comes with that number 9 shirt for Rajović, but what a start to the season and career of Rajović at Watford, and the Great Dane from Kalmar hopefully will be our man this season. So yeah, let's start off with the first moment of the game. I mean, Jay De Silva for Coventry, it was not great defending from us early on in the game. You think, okay, 20 minutes in, we've got to be sharp on it defensively, but De Silva just charges through our defence very easily. We've got to get a challenge in. And then he has a kind of weird cross/shot, which, flashes very close. There's a few Watford players trying to block the shot, and there is a big huddle of Watford defenders, and it just kind of brushes the arm of Ryan Porteous, and it looks like, the harshest penalty on the planet. Porteous, what can he do in that situation? He's so close range, and it doesn't look like he's moved the hand towards the ball, so a very odd one from the referee there, but given a penalty for Coventry, and that was just a killer really, because you think, oh, that's exactly how you don't want to start a game, backs to the wall, away from home. You don't want to give the home side that momentum and that confidence to really control the game with a penalty, and it was a fantastic penalty from Matt Godden, really powerful effort, but an even better save from Daniel Bachmann. I mean, what a really strong left hand he got there to his right hand side, and really just impressive goalkeeping from Bachmann, who has had his critics this season, obviously taking the captaincy this season. He wasn't the best last season. He had his moments. He was very good in some games and very poor in others, but I think he has actually saved a few points for Watford this season as he did last season. So I think credit to Daniel Bachmann. What a great save from the Austrian. And then even from the follow-up, right, it was a really good save, but then Casey Palmer had a chance to finish it and just blazed it over, really. A bad effort from him. And so, yeah, love the shithousery, though, from Ryan Porteous, just shouting in Casey Palmer's face after missing that one. So you love to see it from Porteous. He's always done it in his career, but yeah, ultimately that was justice done, I think, with the harsh awarding of that penalty. And then we have the first goal of the game on 35 minutes. Mileta Rajović, really great run from Tom Ince. I talked about how he drives the defences, and that's exactly what he did. Really good, tricky for the defenders to kind of deal with him. And what happens is Lati Bordair fouls Rajović in the box, and the referee doesn't see it. But then, whilst Ince is kind of showing his tricky wing play, he does a few step overs, and then really nice, great drilled cross into the box. Exactly what a striker wants to attack. And Rajović gets up off the floor after getting fouled, and in an instant he is on the pounce, ready to poach the goal, poke it into the back of the net, and yeah, really good finish actually. He had to anticipate that, and it was very stealthily put in by the Dane. So great way to get the opening goal on the first kind of part of the game. And you think, yeah, all right, take that 1-0 lead into half time. Lovely stuff. We would take that absolutely. And then just 6 minutes later, Watford managed to concede, and it's a disappointing one really, because from a free kick taken by Milan van Elvijk, it's a free kick that's quite far out, but just kind of fairly central. And to be fair to Van Elvijk, it is a banger of a free kick. But maybe Daniel Bachmann should do better there. Maybe he's a bit unsighted by the wall. I don't know what happens. The wall can't stop the free kick, but it does go, creep into that right-hand side a little bit too easily for my liking. So maybe Daniel Bachmann, his right-hand side, he'll look at that and think he could have done a bit better. But I just think it's a fantastic free kick, if I'm honest. Just fingertips agonisingly away from reaching it. And so we go into half-time level at 1-1, and you think, yeah, we really had the better of that first half. The fact that we, don't go into the half-time break up in the lead was a bit disappointing. We often do this, though. We concede just before half-time, and it's such a killer because it often changes the momentum of the game. So that's another thing Ismail's got to work on with the lads. Get into half-time and retain that lead. So then the second half rolls around. Some good play from Watford. A really nice piece of play from Tom Dele-Bashiru. And early in the second half, on 52 minutes, it's a lovely outside of the foot pass from the Nigerian in midfield, Dele-Bashiru. And then Matheus Martins collects it and just drives with the ball. I talked about that with Ince. That's what you need to do to get those goals. Just drive and really attack those defenders, make them make mistakes, make them backpedal. And exactly what happened. The backpedaling from the Coventry defence, and what a stunner of a finish from Matheus Martins. I mean, he was starting for us in the last season, didn't really have a great season, but he's really looked his clinical self this season because, 2 goals now that's for him for the season. His debut goal, a fantastic header at home to QPR on the opening day, but this was even better. I mean, yeah, absolute stunner with that right foot into the far corner, just kind of lured the defenders in, they backpedaled, and he just stroked it home. Really fantastic finish. And when they're backpedaling, it's not easy to get that in. He just ran at them and really, stroked it home with a lot of accuracy. So benting it round the defence, and no chance there for Ben Wilson. So really nice strike from Matheus Martins. And you think, okay, here we go, 2-1 up again. We've got this. We're going to hold on to the lead this time. And I can only describe this as a freak football incident because, oh my days, Wesley Hoedt has had an absolute shocker here. And we talked about Hoedt this season for us, really defensively solid with that centre-back pairing of Ryan Porteous. But it just all flashes before his eyes in this one. And it's just a crazy, crazy moment. It's played around the back for Watford. Porteous kind of hits it. It's quite a strong back pass to Wesley Hoedt, his centre-back partner. But Porteous, just kind of fairly strongly, passes it into Hoedt, but enough time really for Wesley to control it. He kind of controls the ball a bit awkwardly, but he does control it eventually. And meanwhile, with the way that Bachmann is playing this season and the way Watford are playing in that kind of pressing 4-3-3, it means Daniel Bachmann is playing quite a high line. He's often pushing quite far forward when Watford go forward, even when Watford are off the ball and they're kind of sat back in their own half. Daniel Bachmann does like to kind of push forward because he likes to play out from the back, and I don't like that. It's really stressful to watch because we could lose it and he gets lobbed. But ultimately, Bachmann is pushing a lot further forward this season. So he was, before the pass was received for Wesley Hoedt, Bachmann was kind of standing really high outside the 18-yard box. And so Matty Godden is pressing Wesley Hoedt. So when Wesley Hoedt receives the ball, Hoedt just gets the ball and just assumes that Daniel Bachmann is right there, and just what he does, he swivels and passes to where he thinks he is. But when Wesley Hoedt does receive that pass, to be fair to Bachmann, he gets back in that 18-yard box in a position where you think, okay, Bachmann's thinking, let's get in a position where I can, be an option for Wesley to get that pass back to me and I can just boot it up the pitch. So fair play on Bachmann's part there. But as I said, Wesley just doesn't even think about it. He just gets the ball from Porteous and just instinctively swivels and passes without looking up, without thinking where Bachmann might have moved to. And ultimately, it is just a bit of a howler from the Dutch international, Wesley Hoedt. I mean, look, I really think he wasn't trying to do that. Of course he wasn't. It's just an honest mistake. But he should have used his many years of experience at Southampton and playing, in different leagues around the world to think, you've got to look up, you've got to, work out, can I actually pass it back in that moment? As much as it was tricky because he was aware of Matty Godden, pressing him, he didn't want to, play it forward because at risk of losing the ball. he's also, when he's passing back, got to look up and take his time as much as possible in that split second. So, yeah, it's not great from Watford. It's a bit of a howler of an own goal, and certainly one that we're not going to want to look back on anytime soon. Because what happens is, really, Wesley, Daniel Bachmann, he is standing, when he goes back into the 18-yard box, he's kind of standing a bit to the left of the penalty area. So the penalty spot, he's kind of a bit to the left of it. And what Wesley does is, as I say, he doesn't know where Bachmann is, but Wesley's pass is very far left from the penalty spot. So it's a bit further left than Bachmann had anticipated. And so, yeah, it's passed beyond Bachmann's stretched leg, and it just rolls in agonisingly for Watford's defence. That is a howler. That is one that we'll soon forget. And we just have to think, got to communicate, got to give options to pass the ball, even if we get pressing against us. We've got to have that out ball to prevent those sort of mistakes happening. So yeah, not ideal at all. Not a nice way to kind of get the game back level at 2-2. You just think, oh, bang, we've really shot ourselves in the foot there. But then we talk about bad defending, organisation. That happens again with Coventry, and we take the lead again on 79 minutes. And you think, this is surely the last time we're going to go back ahead and get pegged back again, because it's 10 minutes to go in the game. Surely we can see this out. But yeah, it's not great from Coventry. A poor back pass really from Bobby Thomas in that defence for Coventry. Tries to pass it back to Ben Wilson, but it's some great pressing from the substitute Vakun Bayo. I mean, we have talked about him in the last few games not been his clinical self, and with Rajović really putting in a fantastic performance. Mileta Rajović, I think, does have a good strong case to start again ahead of Bayo. So I don't think that will be great for Bayo's chances. But I've got to say, good from Bayo. This good pressing, good hunger to even late on in the game get Watford a foothold back in it, and he just does well to intercept the pass and get a foot in. And, really, really well done. Squares it for Mileta Rajović. And, as I said earlier, Rajović, nice finish, strokes it home. Composed finish, despite the efforts of Lati Bordet on the line for Coventry. So you think, yes, come on, this is it now. This is the moment. But what happens? Yes, 87th minute of the game. And Watford, oh dear, how have we managed this then? We fumble the game and do end up drawing it. But it's just frustrating, because this is why, when I do say I don't like VAR, there are other reasons why some sort of, referee, assistant referee, extra referee in the Championship would be great, because there are sometimes these decisions that are missed by the officials in the Championship. This wouldn't have been missed by VAR. This probably would have been ruled out as a goal. But, I do like not having VAR, because it removes that kind of unsure element, and it keeps the spontaneity of the game where players can score goals and just not have to hold themselves back from celebrating, and they can just genuinely enjoy the moment, and there's more goals. And just use your common sense, referees. When there's a decision, it shouldn't be measured by the head's width, whether it's offside. It's just ridiculous. So just use your common sense. But no, there is no VAR in the Championship, so this was missed obviously by the linesman or by the fourth official. But Haji Wright is going on that kind of right hand side of Coventry's attack. He's going down the wing, and what happens is he's dribbling. Porteous tries to get a foot in, and it looks like Haji Wright kind of fouls Porteous in the face. He tries to muscle him off it and puts a hand into his face, and Hoot meanwhile has to pick up the pieces as Porteous goes down. But Wesley Hoot, he can't unfortunately get a foot in and block the cross from Wright on that right hand side. And yeah, defensively not enough numbers back for Watford in the back line, and the ball just kind of goes across. No one blocks it, no one gets a foot in, and it rolls all the way to Matt Godden, who of course missed the penalty, but he makes up for it with a final say of the game, the final laugh, and the strokes home finish on 87 minutes, which is a great finish, but Bachmann can't do anything about it. What I will say is there should have been more defenders backing up Wesley Hoot and Ryan Porteous, because it's just too easy, too much space, not picked up Matt Godden, and he gets the final say in the game. So look, it's a really disappointing result when we felt that we should have won that game. We had a lot of chances. We had a lot of the better of the game, I felt. And, some of the goals that we scored were fantastic. We had 14 shots, 16 for Coventry, so quite even on that front. Lesser possession, it was quite close though, 47 to us and 53 to Coventry. But in terms of clear-cut chances, it felt like Watford had a few of the better ones. 5 shots on target from 14, and then 6 corners to Coventry's 9. So it was quite an even game, but as I say, Watford, with them going ahead a few times, would have felt they should have scored enough goals to win the game and held on. And to score 3 goals away from home, I mean, really, it's good. We've stopped the rot, right, after 2 losses in a row, but that should have really been a result there. So I'm glad to see that we've got the performance. We've looked good going forward. We just now need to get that balance right of defence. So hope you have enjoyed my match review of the Coventry game. Of course, man of the match has to go to Mileta Rajović on his first full start. What a debut for the Dane. And yeah, obviously Ince looked great as well on his first start as well. So hopefully we can go into this next game we've got coming up. I'm not actually sure what it is, but there is an international break anyway. So catch me on my next championship predictions, where I'll be predicting the next Watford game. But as I say, hope you have enjoyed this one. Smash a like on the video, and of course, get those notifications on. For a couple of weeks' time, there will be a episode, kind of poster advertisement reveal, a few, low down on the first few episodes, what will be in them, and then in about 3 weeks' time, do tune in to the new podcast, only one here on Spotify. That is, of course, Form is Temporary podcast. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.